Hi, I'm Wilf from Studio Bark and New Build. We do environmental buildings. Through the narrative of Three Horizons, I'm going to talk to you today about a radically collaborative live build initiative coined No Building as Usual. I will begin with Horizon 1, Business as Usual, then move on to Horizon 2, Disruptive Innovation, and we'll finish on Horizon 3, the Emerging Future. So, Horizon 1, Business, or in this case, Building as Usual. Let's take, for example, a community that needs housing. They have a pot, or in this case, a pie of money, and maybe the council have even given them a site. They have a dream to build spacious, light-filled, zero-carbon homes, but the council are worried they don't have the skills and knowledge to deliver it. Along comes a developer who takes a risk in return for the profit. That developer wants to limit his risk, therefore he employs a project manager who takes further risk, again in reward for profit. The project manager employs a cost consultant and then an architect and an engineer who also take their piece of the risk in return for their piece of the pie. Here begins the inevitable snowball effect of risk, liability, and ultimately litigation mitigation, reducing the pie to crumbs and the dream to a nightmare. Let's now look at Horizon 2, disruptive innovation using MMC, modern methods of construction, as a broad analogy. The developer might say, look, technology has made this much simpler and therefore cheaper. And the council replies, great, that means truly affordable housing. Planning approved. The existing housing stock is demolished and the construction waste is sent to landfill. However, thanks to MMC, a disruptive technological innovation, new affordable housing is built in its place, and the local community move back into their new homes. Stop the bus! We are operating within a degenerative and hierarchical economy where the market rules the day. These new flats are desirable and are purchased off-plan on the open market by overseas investors. Instead, the community is displaced and the developer and his team drive away with the profits. In 2019, the 9 largest house builders paid out £2.3 billion in dividends to their shareholders. The cost to them of roughly 20,000 new family homes. Now, on the flip side, Horizon 2, the same disruptive innovation, MMC, but not driven by profits for shareholders and instead born through education. This is No Building as Usual. In this case, we are using an MMC system designed specifically for self-build community construction and the transition to a circular economy. This doesn't mean lots of consultant contracts and developer speculation, but instead radical collaboration between construction practitioners, representing a diverse spectrum of races, genders, and social classes. Because this risk is shared, so are the profits, resulting in a distributive and regenerative economic microclimate. Lastly, let's look at Horizon 3, Emerging Future. No Building as Usual is a real-life demonstrator project starting on site in June this year. Through building in this radically collaborative way, we don't have to dilute the environmental ambition and can deliver a building that has no concrete, it has no steel structure, it creates no site waste, but does use a demountable foundation system, does use reclaimed railway sleepers for retaining walls, does use natural carbon sequestering materials, does include a green roof, does include native climbing plants for seasonal solar shading, does include triple glazed timber windows, does include great natural daylight and ventilation through a central courtyard, does include open book monetary and carbon cost reporting, all for less money than your developer-led carbon-hungry box and by a group of people more representative of the communities in which these buildings are built. As architects, we have agency to change the system. We must start refusing degenerative projects backed by fossil fuel investors or weapon trade hedge funders. We need to shift our mentality to risk, and we need to start working together to foster distributive and regenerative architectural projects. We need to start putting people ahead of profits and the natural environment ahead of consumerism and creature comforts. It's time to shape the emerging future that we all want to see. It's time for No Building as Usual. Thank you.